Welcome back to the Virtual Summer Camp. It's good
What's
to
up?
see you guys. How are you, Pastor Harold?
I am doing great on today. I'm excited again.
Oh my gosh, don't delete this stuff. These are the outtakes that I want you to do. Like the never behind the scenes.
Tired of that word.
I gotta have you. I gotta have you. I gotta have you. I gotta have you. Oh Lord, I gotta have you. When you realize you don't know the words of songs. I need the bouncing ball at the bottom of the songs that she
That's why
sings.
you keep asking for that bouncing ball because you don't be knowing words.
That's what I'm asking. I be making up the songs and people be looking at me like, what song you singing? That ain't the words. I'm like, oh, I like my little made up lyrics. Okay. Okay. You good?
I'm trying
And
to think of another word other than excited.
thrilled. I am hyped. I'm psyched.
I'm
I'm
lit.
pumped. Yeah. What?
I'm lit. No cap.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Ready?
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the virtual summer camp. How are you doing today? It's a new wonderful day. Pastor Harold, how are you?
I'm doing well, Pastor Terry. I am so thrilled to be with you guys on today. Man, we've had some fun, right? This past 2 days has been amazing. I can't wait for day 3.
It's been a ride. We are enjoying every bit of it. I'm so excited that we have to start our morning off right before we go any further with what? Prayer. Of course. We are always in a place of knowing that we can't do anything and everything without first giving thanks to God for all that He's done and all He's going to do. So let's take a moment and we'll be prayed in today by Kara Nixon.
Thank you, Kara. All right. 3, 2. Wait, do you want me to talk right after that? Okay. 3, 2, when.
Awesome. I'm so glad that Kara prayed us in today. Look, I love
Right.
it that no matter how old you are, she's in college and she still knows like, hey, I still gotta give God thanks. I can say my prayer. And so we all need to take the role that Kara gave us today, which is giving thanks for what God's doing, what He's going to do, and start our day off right. So, look, you guys, you got 3 examples of prayers when we talked about it. If you don't know how to do a morning prayer, you already have 3. So, you get the words together, take one from one day, another line from the second day, and today from Care, and come up with your own morning prayer. I would love to hear, like, what is your morning prayer? Have you come up with a new one since you've been with us this week so far? It definitely can set your day off right.
Yes, and don't treat God like a stranger. God is a friend of yours. He made you, so he wants you to speak to him. So just say whatever when you first get started. Hey God, what's up? What's good? Thank you for waking me up or whatever. You can say whatever you want. Just acknowledge God and have a conversation with him, just like he was your best friend.
Or like when you go to school, like first thing when you're going into school, they say hi to you. Like it's before you go in the door, you say hi to your teachers. You say hi to your parents when they in the house. And if you're not, you're supposed to you're supposed to say hi to everybody. So God was like, hey, I'm here with you. You better say hi. Like if you see your best friend, if you see your best friend in the hallway, the first thing you're gonna say, hey, what's up? How are you? So definitely make sure that you give thanks first thing in the morning to your best friend, God.
Yes. Because we gotta have God.
That's it.
Right, Pastor Terry?
Absolutely.
Let's,
Absolutely.
let's hear from Pastor Shalia, the worship pastor at H20 Suitland. She has an amazing song for us on today. I can't wait to hear from her. I know you can't. Man.
I'm
Put
about
in
to
the
clear
chat.
my space out, so I know she's gonna give me something good this
Man,
morning.
let's
So
go. Let's get some space. Put in the chat where you're from, who you are. We want to hear from you guys. But let's go to Pastor Shalea.
give us something, Pastor Shalea. You play too much. You play too much. She was gonna bop. Oh, sing it, say, oh, I gotta have you. Say! Say!
And I man, gotta have you. Come on, just lift your hands. Oh Lord. Man, Pastor Shalea.
Shalaya! Yes, sang. Oh my goodness. I feel like roller skate. Oh, that's an
Y'all couldn't see us, but
awesome.
me and
Yes.
Pastor Terry, we was breaking it down like, hey, hey. Matter of fact, roller skating don't sound bad. So maybe when things open up, we can get out there on the roller skates.
Do a little
But
crossover for the people.
I need to learn how to skate backwards, by the way.
We
I
gotta
do.
get some lessons.
That's the perfect skating song, by the way. Skate praise. Skate praise night. Gotta have you. Then you, then you gotta get low, like, hey.
And cross over.
Look, I crossed one time, I tripped, so I'm not crossing no more.
Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that selection of pure joy and just
Yes,
excitement for God and what God's doing and who He is. I mean, and then just knowing that you gotta have it, like water, like air. Beyond that, you gotta have it, and it's for you. So I'm
yes,
excited. Our day is set. Let's
yes.
go.
God is amazing. It's it's
Absolutely.
it's all that we need. He is all that we need, and I'm just elated to be here with you all and worshiping God, praising God, having fun on this in this virtual world, in this virtual summer camp. We're having a great time. I can't wait for what's next, Pastor Terry. What do we have next?
Listen, you guys gotta subscribe down up in here. Click on the notification on our YouTube as well as Facebook, Instagram. Look out, we're going to be sending a lot of information out today. So let's
Yes,
go on into it.
let's go. All right. Great job.
Oh,
Great job.
so I hopefully you'll get a chance to talk to Pastor Bonner to see if he can do a story. So he may be able to do one for, because I did one for today. If he does one today, it'll be for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I can do one on the last day,
Okay.
or you can do one on the last day, whatever.
Because we already did one for today. So he'll do one today for tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
just Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday.
Yep.
You want to record a story just in case? Or we can do it tomorrow.
Yeah, we can. What's another story?
Of course, you got Noah's Ark, but that's not a child.
I can't really see. How can I see the? Is there a list of stories?
You just search it. If you scroll up, long, long ago, there lived a man named Noah. The Bible says Noah was a righteous man because he believed in the one true and living God of the Bible. God warned Noah that he was going to send a lot of rain to the earth. So much rain that a great flood would come. God told Noah to build an ark where all the people that believed God would be safe and secure from dangers of the flood. Noah obeyed God. For many years, Noah asked the people to believe in the one true and living God of the Bible, but they would not believe. Finally, God told Noah and his family to climb inside of the ark. They obeyed God. He also told two of every kind of animal to climb into the ark with Noah. The animals also obeyed God. When Noah and his family were safe in the ark, God reached down and closed the door very tightly. Then it began to rain and rain and rain and rain and rain. It rained all day and all night for 40 days until the earth was covered with water. Noah and his family were the only ones in the whole world to believe in the one true and living God of the Bible, and they were the only ones that God kept safe through the flood. Noah and his family were the only ones in the whole world to believe in the one true and living God of the Bible, and they were the only ones that God kept safe through the flood. Many people died in the flood because of their unbelief. He reigns. He reigns forever and ever. He reigns. He reigns. You want to welcome to Clubhouse?
Yeah, I mean, what's the story? I don't know. We doing Noah? That's the story. I'm asking.
No,
You don't like the
I don't have a kid in it. I like the theme that you kind of stated. Like we're going to teach them Bible stories about them. So I'm thinking King Josiah.
right? You said that. I'm looking at some of these stories, and I'm not sure if these are short people or are they like, boys. The one about the donkey. Oh, no, not a good story. Hey, Nick Cannon. I got it. I got it. I got it.
I got that reference.
So glad.
He never came out with the number two. Drumline two.
I think there was a drum line too. I don't know. I don't think he was in it though.
Oh yeah. That was straight to DVD, straight to red box.
Straight. I ain't even know it went the red box, but yeah. Um, the three Hebrew boys.
Yeah, gotta do Jonah in the well. Jonah in the well slaps.
What you mean?
That story slaps. It's a banger. Fire.
God had warned his people that unless they turned back to him, he would allow the Babylonians to defeat them and take them away as slaves. Among them living in Jerusalem, a young boy called Daniel. They ignored God's warning and joined the king of, I forget his name. I gotta look it up right quick. King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon came to Jerusalem and besieged it. The Babylonians laid sledge to the city of Jerusalem, and Daniel trapped inside the city. The Lord allowed the Babylonians to take the city. The
Daniel
victorious,
was 17.
huh?
Daniel was 17.
Daniel and the Israelite prisoners were marched back to Babylon. King Nebuchadnezzar ordered. Oh, yeah, I had to look at that's complicated. Okay, what was up? We said Jonah. You said Jonah.
I like the three Hebrew boys though.
I do, but I have to look it up for another day. In Bible times, Nineveh was the capital of the nation of Assyria. This great city was large in size and population, but for many years, those living in Nineveh had become more and more wicked. The king was a powerful man of war, and his armies were conquering first one country, then the next, as the Assyrian Empire grew. Every day they were getting closer and closer to the borderland of Israel. The people in Israel were afraid of the Assyrians. There had never been any friendliness between the two nations because of the differences in the way they lived their lives. The people of Israel worshiped God, and their faith was at the center of all they thought and believed. The people of Nineveh did not worship God, but images made out of stone. Living in the land of Israel was a prophet of God called Jonah, who delivered messages from God to the people. One day, God gave Jonah a message he did not want to deliver. God told Jonah to go to the people of Nineveh and tell them God had seen their wickedness and was going to destroy the city. Jonah did not want to warn the enemies of his people that Nineveh was going to be destroyed. Why should they be warned? Why didn't God just go ahead and destroy Nineveh? Jonah decided to ignore God and and headed in the opposite direction of Nineveh to the coast. He boarded a boat heading towards Tarish in Spain, as far away as he could get from Nineveh. Soon he was out of the sea and could put what he should be doing right out of his mind. But you cannot run away from God. Jonah thought that he could. He went down into the ship and was soon fast asleep. While Jonah slept, God caused a storm, the likes of which the sailors had never seen before. They fell to their knees and cried out to their gods to spare their life. But the wind blew harder and stronger. The captain knew that their boat would not last through the storm like this. So he woke Jonah and told him to call on his God to save them. But how could Jonah call on God when he was running away from him? In desperation, the crew of the ship drew lots to find out who was responsible for the trouble they were in. And it just so happened that Jonah was shown to be the guilty one. The sailors demanded to know who he was and what he had done to upset God. Jonah confessed to them that he had done and begged them to throw him overboard before they were all lost. The sailors took a hold of Jonah and threw him overboard. Immediately, the storm stopped. As Jonah floundered in the sea, God sent a great fish that he had prepared. The great fish completely swallowed Jonah. Jonah was inside the belly of the great fish for 3 days and nights. He prayed to God, asking for forgiveness. Then the Lord spoke to the fish, and it vomited Jonah out onto the dry land. God repeated his instruction for Jonah to go to the city of Nineveh. This time, Jonah obeyed. Jonah went boldly into the city and cried out, "In 40 days, Nineveh will be destroyed." He walked throughout Nineveh, warning of God's judgment on the city. The people listened and they believed what Jonah had told them. They proclaimed a fast to repent of their wickedness. When the king heard about Jonah's message, he had become aware of the ways he had disobeyed God. The king was so sorry for his wickedness, he took off his rich royal garments, and then he put on a sackcloth and sat in ashes, pleading with God to show mercy. All over the city, people followed the example of the king and pleaded with God to forgive them. God heard their prayers, and because he is a God of mercy, he spared them and did not destroy Nineveh. The Lord is good. His mercy is everlasting. Psalms 105. and John 1, 8 through 9. You want to do that one?
You carry in your flesh is not greater than the grace I carry for you. The book of Jonah, chapter 1. Now the word of the Lord came unto Jonah the son of Amittai, saying, Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and cry against it, for their wickedness is come up before me. But Jonah rose up to flee unto Tarshish from the presence of the Lord, and went down to Joppa. And he found a ship going to Tarshish. So he paid the fare thereof, and went down into it, to go with them unto Tarshish from the presence of the Lord. But the Lord sent out a great wind into the sea, and there was a mighty tempest in the sea, so that the ship was like to be broken. Then the mariners were afraid. Amos. The book of Jonah, chapter 1. Now the word of the Lord came unto Jonah the son of Amittai, saying, Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and cry against it, for their wickedness is come up before me. But Jonah rose up to flee unto Tarshish from the presence of the Lord.
Ready? Harold, you ready? Ready? Let's go.
Oh, stretch it out.
Okay.
Doing Jonah?
Yeah.
Three, two, one. Hey everybody, welcome back to H20yth Clubhouse.
Hey,
We
Clubhouse. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Hey Clubhouse or whatever.
Oh, whatever.
3, 2, One. Hey, everybody, welcome back to H20yth Clubhouse. Hey, Pastor Terry, how are you?
I'm doing good. Good to be back in the clubhouse. How about you? I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go. Don't forget to put in chat where you're from. Put in the comments right there. And also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Wherever you are, we want you to share it all over the country, all over the world, to all of your friends. We are here in Clubhouse to give you a Bible story that is about little ones living on purpose. We are so elated to give you stories of the Bible that's practical to you and stories that you may relate to with a little lesson in the end, right? What are we talking about today, Pastor Terry?
All right. So this story is about Jonah and the big fish. Well,
Ooh, I remember that story.
okay. All right, let's go. In Bible times, Nineveh, is that Nineveh? Messed that up. Nineveh?
Yes, no,
Huh?
no.
Huh?
Yes, yes.
Nineveh? Okay. Sorry. All right, let's go. In the Bible times, Nineveh was the capital of the nation of Assyria. This great city was large in size and population. But for many years, those living in Nineveh had become more and more wicked. The king was a powerful man of war, and his armies were conquering first one country, then the next, and as the Assyrian Empire grew. Every day they were getting closer and closer to the borderland of Israel. The people in Israel were afraid of the Assyrians. They had never been friendly at all between the two nations because of the difference in the way that they lived their lives. The people of Israel worshiped God, and their faith was at the center of all they thought and believed. The people of Nineveh did not worship God, but images made out of stone. Living in the land of Israel was a prophet of God called Jonah, who delivered messages from God to the people. One day, God gave Jonah a message he did not want to deliver. God told Jonah to go to the people of Nineveh and tell them God had seen their wickedness and was going to destroy the city. Jonah did not want to warn the enemies of his people that Nineveh was going to be destroyed. Why should they be warned? Why didn't God just go ahead and destroy Nineveh? God decided, sorry, Jonah decided to ignore God and headed to the opposite direction of Nineveh to the coast. He boarded a boat heading for Tarshish in Spain as far away as he could get from Nineveh. Soon he was out at sea and could put what should be done right out of his mind. But you cannot run away from God. Jonah thought he could. He went down into the ship and was soon fast asleep. While Jonah slept, God caused a storm like a While Jonah was asleep, God caused a storm, the likes of which the sailors had never seen before. They fell to their knees and cried out to their gods to spare their lives. But the wind blew harder and harder. The captain knew that their boat would not last through the storm like this. So he woke Jonah and told him to call on his God to save them. But how could Jonah call on God when he was running away from God? In desperation, the crew of the ship drew lots to find out who was responsible for the trouble they were in. In desperation, the crew of the ship drew lots to find who was responsible for the trouble they were in. And just so happened that Jonah was shown to be the guilty one. The sailors demanded to know who he was and what he had done to upset God. Jonah confessed to them what he had done and begged them to throw him overboard before they all were lost. The sailors took a hold of Jonah and they threw him overboard, and immediately the storm stopped. As Jonah floundered in the sea, God sent a great fish that he had prepared. The great fish completely swallowed Jonah. Jonah was in the belly of the great fish for 3 days and nights. He prayed to God, asking for forgiveness. Then the Lord spoke to the fish, and it vomited Jonah out onto the dry land. God repeated his instruction to Jonah to go to the city of Nineveh. This time, Jonah obeyed. Jonah went boldly to the city and cried out, "In 40 days, Nineveh will be destroyed." He walked throughout Nineveh, warning of God's judgment on the city. The people listened and they believed what Jonah had told them. They proclaimed a fast to repent of their wickedness. When the king heard about Jonah's message, he became aware of the ways he had disobeyed God. The king was so sorry for his wickedness. The king was so sorry for his wickedness. He took off his rich royal garments. Then he put on a sackcloth and sat in ashes, pleading with God to show mercy. All over the city, the people followed the example of the king and pleaded with God to forgive them. God heard their prayers, and because he is a God of mercy, he spared them and did not destroy Nineveh. The Lord is good. His mercy is everlasting. Psalms 105 and John 1, 8 through 9.
What an awesome story about grace, mercy, and really second chances.
And
You
obedience.
Man, you know, Jonah wasn't obedient to God right off the bat, but even people around him could tell something not right about you. Let's
Right.
throw him overboard. And God still had favor on his life. He still had grace and mercy on us, just like he wanted Jonah to have for the city of Nineveh. So, I mean, can you imagine that in your life where God saved you out of a horrible situation that you knew you had no business being in? Pastor Terry?
That's absolutely how Jonah was. But what's funny is like how he started out not wanting to give grace to the city of Nineveh, but then ended up needing that same grace for his life. And
Right.
he needed that mercy. And, he really learned that, God's grace is for us all. If you ask, he will grant it to us because he's a God of love and compassion. So I love that story. And there's a lot of times we got to remember sometimes you want something bad for someone else to happen for things that they've done. You never know what you're going to do down the line that you're going to need some grace and mercy.
True.
And just as you didn't want that grace and mercy for someone else, does that mean that you're also not going to get it in your situation? So we have to extend that grace to everyone as God is extending it to us.
Man, just put in the comments grace and mercy. Just put in
And
that.
thank you. Ugh.
Thank you, God. Like, Lord. So, man, this is an awesome clubhouse. Thank you so much, Pastor Terry, for reading that story for us. And we're going to see if you can draw a whale next. So, stay tuned. Get your papers, your crayons, and your pencils out. Even you parents out there and older people, like, go ahead and draw that thing up and share it with us.
Share
Share
it. I'm going to try to draw as well. So I'm going to share I hope it's not a goldfish. I hope I do try to
it.
get close to looking like a whale. So yeah. So you guys make sure you share. We want to be able to see, how you captured Jonah and the whale from the Bible.
Yes. Well, we love you guys. Remember to always live on purpose.
Live on purpose, you guys. See you soon. Later.